So anyway, what I was saying is that I think we're going to turn our all hands into an amazing, fun, awesome content for all of our Leyline people and Leyline users. So not only is it going to be educational and going into how we do business and strategize and talk about the product and humanize each other, we're also going to entertain people by playing music and showing amazing art. And the music is fantastic to start the week off because it exercises your brain. It makes you happier. It uplifts your mood, unlocks your creativity, and brings us together as human beings. So we're going to do some cool stuff with all hands. So yeah, welcome aboard, everybody. Good morning. It's going to be a good week. We are in stage, I think, 3 of our go-to marketing plan of execution. And things are going well. Got some cool OKRs to share with you. But we are going to start with our first showcase with DJ Brian Chang. All right, I can hand it over to you, my friend.
Cool, appreciate it. So yeah, Jeremy initially asked me last week to either, hey, Brian, can you either play the drums or DJ or do something? And I was like, well, let me think that through. Like DJing is something that is, takes a little bit of time to develop, right? You take listeners on a journey and you got to play multiple songs and stuff like that. And this needs to be really quick, right? Because we're not just going to watch me just play music for you guys. So yeah, DJing in general without an audience that's like dancing or socializing or, it's in the background, it's really boring. So I didn't think I wanted to do that to you guys. And also drumming wise, I just don't have the chops to bust out a crazy solo. So, but what I really enjoy doing is improvising with people. If there's there's accompanying instruments. So that's a lot of fun. Maybe some live session at some point in the future with other people would be super cool. I don't know how that would work over Zoom, but maybe we ever do it in person or something. So yeah, so I figured, well, maybe I should just teach a short DJ lesson instead. Some of you guys may know that I run a nonprofit. It's called Dance Music Initiative, and our main mission is to share DJ culture with the community. So I've been teaching people how to DJ for free for about 10 years now. We usually set up our like DJ lab in a public space. We did it on a weekly basis before the pandemic. Yeah, we would just teach people, anyone who walked up, we would teach them how to DJ. It was pretty cool. We were doing that for many years. And currently, I still teach kids how to DJ during their after-school program. I just do it through Zoom and meet with them on a daily basis, and it's really fun seeing these kids get to experience music, especially during the pandemic. So I'm just gonna kind of roll into one of the lessons that I teach, and it's kind of a question that I ask the audience. So I'm gonna kind of throw this out to you guys. The question is, what makes music danceable? Okay. So anybody have any ideas? Go ahead and put it into chat as far as what you think makes music danceable. What is like the most important thing? Rhythm. That's a good answer. BPM. Cool. Rhythm, 4 on the floor. Those are all great answers. Okay. It's personal confidence, right? Well, what the question is specifically about the music, right? What aspect of the music makes it danceable? So let's start with rhythm, right? Rhythm is usually like, a steady beat, right? That's repeated over time. And that's helpful, right? Like if you don't have a beat, it's hard to know where to put your feet, right? That beat just kind of helps you move along to it. So yeah, the most common answers that I get are either beats or rhythm. And so I'm going to give you guys an example of a song that I'm just going to make up on the fly that has beats and rhythm. Okay. So a standard song would go something like da, 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 right? Really easy, really basic, easy to dance to, right? Okay, so now I'm going to give you another example of a song that has beats and rhythm, but you tell me if it's danceable. So this new song goes da, 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 ba, 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 da, 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 ba, ba. Right, that's my new song. It's a terrible song. Who here thinks that song would be easy to dance to? Nobody? Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You can move to anything.
Yeah. Jonathan's gonna bust out right now, but for most people who aren't as amazing on the dance floor as Jonathan, that song's gonna be really difficult to dance to, right? But it has both beats and rhythm, right? So those things alone are super important, but it's not the most important aspect of music to make it danceable. But what I feel is the most important thing is that the music has to be predictable. The more predictable your music is, the easier it is for people to dance to it. And so what does predictable mean? Predictable is usually, it has beats and rhythm, but it flows in a pattern that people are used to, something that's familiar, right? If you have a familiar beat, if you have something that they can kind of predict and follow along, they can dance to it. And predictable also goes into culture, right? Some of us grow up with certain kinds of beats or certain kinds of music, and that makes it easier to dance to. Let's say you grew up in the Latin community, right? And you're used to listening to cumbia or something like that. That's going to be familiar and danceable to you. But if you grew up in somewhere else and you're not familiar with that kind of music, you might not know what to do, right? And so, but there's beats and rhythm. So it really comes down to just predictableness and familiarity, and that's what makes music danceable. That's it.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much. And guys, if you're interested, Brian does a lot of cool content actually, and hosts trainings on YouTube and is teaching kids at school to help them stay engaged and express their musical learning. So you can check out some of his stuff on Dance Music Initiative. I believe you've got Facebook page, YouTube channel. So thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to jump right into our standard agenda and into our showcases. We've got a lot of stuff to go through today. Okay, so are there any new members on the call that would like to introduce themselves? And Sasha, I believe, is one of our newer joiners. Please, Sasha, introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, some here may know me like Paco. Otherwise, I've been until last year working for Blizzard, a total of 14 years. I've been there in customer support, and after that I started learning data science. And yeah, due to all of the Blizzard connections, basically I did hear about Leyline and thought it would be a great project. And so I observed it for quite a while just from the background. And then I decided, hey, I have so much time on my hands. Just let's join and help you guys wherever I can. So I am here now and hopefully will put my data science and analytics skills to some work and help in other areas as well, especially when it comes to support. And if you have any questions about me, shoot.
Thank you, Sasha. It is great to have you. Honestly, every time we bring in somebody from the old EMEA crew, it warms my heart. So we are really, really happy to have you here, part of the family. Okay, anybody else need to raise their hand? Looks like it's all the veteran crew now. Okay, awesome. So yeah, please, as you bring in people or interacting, don't forget to let them know to update the team roster. And also another housekeeping item, we do have a channel called the Kismet Log. And I know you guys have probably heard me say this stuff, but a lot of what's happening with Leyline to me feels like Kismet. And Kismet is this concept of, everything kind of magically falling into place. Like all the different stars are aligning and it's this coincidence, it's kind of serendipity. And my personal experience with all of this and meeting all of you feels like Kismet, like strangely perfectly aligned, timing, needs, etc. So an experiment here is I'd love to help us get our story together And I think it might be really fascinating to see everyone's journey to get to this point. And it becomes this like, ever growing like log of Leyline of like what's happening, how we got in here, etc. So anyway, it might be a cool like written experiment. So please join me in that. Join us in writing the poem of Leyline by its people, the story. Okay, so let's jump into shoutouts and gratitudes. So again, we are getting a little bit big, so we're going to try to do randomizers here to keep us time boxed and make sure we don't eat up the entire time, like, gratituding each other all the time. So our restriction will be a 30-second timer. And if we can get everybody under 30 seconds, we're going to add a prize here. So in aggregate, since we have 20 people, we have 20 times 30 seconds. If we could beat, 600 seconds, that means we will produce the furry feet of Daniel item for Leyline. If you guys missed the community Q&A session, you guys have to check it out. It was freaking awesome. And then you'll understand the story behind Daniel's furry feet. The first Leyline item that we are going to mint will be Daniel's feet. Okay, so does anybody want to start first with their 30-second gratitude?
I will go.
Yes, thank you, Boogie.
I want to give a lot of love to the esports and community team, but especially Nate and definitely Eugenia. Eugenia is a wizard. She is the oracle. She knows everything and everyone and how to get it done, and she's amazing, super efficient, and she has a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids laser at her house.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Brian. It's really scary to give a presentation about anything. So thank you for sharing something that you love with the rest of the group.
Cool. I want to give a shout out to Mark for amazing help with the trademarking stuff and coexistence agreement, helping me push all that through. Also, shout outs to Paco and Eugene also for being awesome. But I'll pass off to Mark.
Thanks, Brian. I am going to pass this over to Jonathan because Jonathan is just always on top of being just really working hard and being positive, and I just appreciate all the work that Jonathan's done and leveling himself up and all that good stuff. So thanks, Jonathan. You got the hot potato.
Oh, this is Jonathan. Oh, thank you, Mark. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to Roberta and Paco. I haven't had a chance to work personally with like a bunch of you, but whenever I have like a knowledge gap or questions, I always just go to Paco and Roberta, and they help me out. In that case, I'll pass the potato over to Paco.
No. So I would like to a big shout out to both Jonathan. Look for really improving so much and so quick and taking so many big challenges in such a short period of time. And also Jonathan Martin, because he has really a lot of patience for people like me with no experience in crypto. And he's really amazing in teaching things to us and doing a great job in the crypto pot. And I pass my hot potato to Mr. Cody.
Thank you so much. Well, Boogie already had the potato, but nobody shouted him out, and I just want to give some love to you, man. Doing our stereo talks and everything that we've been doing, everything I know you've got hands into, and your attitude and energy, it's awesome. Can't tell you how much I love you, man.
All right, Justin, pick an alternative.
Andrew, I love your art, and you're a stud. Let's go.
Go fast. Shout out to Boogie. Great ideas. Shout out to Christian as well for awesome ideas and meetings in the art pod.
Hey, thank you, Jem, for all your help and your gestion, your organization. Thanks a lot. Even when I'm late, you're always there to remind me, hey, check your quest and stuff like that. Thank you very much, Jem. I pass to Jem.
Shout out to everybody for handing in the quest. Thank you very much. And no, everyone's been really working hard. I see it, and particularly the marketing / I guess community pod. I see their posts, and I can't keep up with posting everything, but I try my best to. So I will pass this to who's here. Crystal.
I guess I would like to thank Jeremy for bringing me on the team and introducing me to all these amazing people and giving me purpose after I graduated. No, yeah, it's really cool to be part of such a great team. This is super motivating. So thank you, and thanks everyone.
We're lucky to have you, Crystal. All right, so we're at 5:45. I am going to give a shout out to Robert because I was a pain in the ass trying to push forward the daily check-in as like, we got to get into the sprint, go, go, go. And so we did it. And Robert was my personal hero, plus getting some support Ramiro as well. So thank you guys. And now I'm exercising every day. Go figure. Leyline points work. I don't know about you guys. That shit worked for me. I'm an audience of one, I think. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Nico.
Hey guys, thanks, Jeremy. So yeah, I haven't really done much so far because I haven't been able to spend as much time as I would like to. But just want to thank Paco and Christian for taking the time to introduce me to the how the dev team works, and to Romain as well for always being available and just kind of explain me how everything works.
I'd love to give a shout out to Cody and the entire community team for the patience and the resilience toward the feedback they are given and the long process we're going through for creating all this content, and really incredible job, especially Cody, is just man of all purpose and incredible skills.
All right, given that, check it out, guys. 7 minutes, 51 seconds. Our time limit was 10 minutes, so you guys rocked it. Woo! Apparently, everybody wants to have Daniel's furry feet in their Leyline profile, so we are making it happen. Everybody, let Daniel know that he will forever live on Leyline with his gigantic furry feet. Anyway, definitely watch the Q&A community session. It was great. You're going to really enjoy it, guys. Always remember, even though we're creating all this content like for the community, actually it's quite informative for ourselves to know what we're doing, because I just tend to spout a bunch of like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to build, which I may not have communicated internally. So it's a good way to just like keep in mind, or rather like keep pace with all the stuff I'm spouting out to the public. Highly recommend it. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And just remember, gratitudes are so important. They help lift your mood. They change your frame of mind. They create bonds between people. There is an important positive ratio of at least 7-to-1 positive comments to negative criticisms that create healthy and dynamic and flourishing teams. So we are going to live and breathe that science. It is happy brain science that we're practicing. Okay, so just friendly reminders for all the new folks that we have our rhythm of business. So remember, Mondays today is where we set all of our goals. We think, what are we going to try to accomplish throughout this week? And make sure your goals are smart, they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Those are the secrets to getting really good goals. And then focus each week syncing with your pods, and then aim for having your retrospective and your sprint reviews on Fridays, where you show the output of what you work and have it reviewed by your stakeholders. So anyway, again, I'm going to be a broken record here because the rhythm of business is so key. We are about speed, 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 and agility. And if you do not think about, hey, what did we accomplish and how do we pivot, then you're not going to be agile. You're just going to be driving down the same exact lane, and that lane could be going down the wrong direction. So anyway, that's just the philosophy on our goals. And right now, the big focus in terms of schedule is that we are still in the midst of our big go-to-market strategy launch. So we have completed stage 1 and stage 2, and I'm going to just open up the calendar to kind of give a sense of the direction that we're going in. Okay, back to the marketing page or marketing calendar. So we've got a full week this week. This is going to be fantastic. I'm super excited. But basically, we've got a number of interviews taking place today. So just a heads up, I mark these as prep, which means that I do the interview on this day and the publication maybe 2 to 3 days afterwards. The worst case scenario might be the week after. But as soon as we get the heads up, I'll let the team know, so that way, if you need to use it as a marketing beat or a social post beat, we can make that happen. So tomorrow is a big day because we have Fran's tournament, the stream going live. That is going to be very, very big because there are many teams in there, many influencers, many shoutcasters, many pro players from the OWL, and all of their media and social handles are going to be promoting this event. It will be live streamed and we'll have VODs. Leyline is sponsoring the event, so we will have placements there and we'll have some content to share. And Hexagrams is one of our brand ambassadors. So yeah, tune in and share it because this is really important because this is speaking to our core demographic. These are the people that we want to be able to speak to and that are going to resonate with this message. Gamers are going to be the ones that save the world. This is the generation that we need to talk to, and we just need to give them a pathway to do that. So that's the focus. We want to let people know. And I mean, seriously, sign up, get on a wait list. You get it for free. You do almost nothing and you get paid for it. Like that is the value proposition of the century. And you save the world. So yes, that makes it the value prop of the century. Okay, so what else we got going on? We got some press releases here. We've got our Leyline podcast is going to be every Wednesday, I believe. Boogie and Cody, correct me if I'm wrong there. But we are starting to spin that sucker up. And it looks like we're announcing our exercise feature as well, or using it as a key beat, which is functioning properly. And every week we're going to be iterating on that. Any questions about our calendar and marketing so far? You can raise your hands if you need to. So yeah, feel free to just use the raise hands feature. And then in parallel, we've got about 3 to 4 podcasts that are either going to ship or we're going to record. So we are going to continue to hit that circuit over and over again. And now that we've got additional spokespeople ready to go, like Dolly and Boogie and Kevin and more, we want to start to open up interviews for pretty much everybody that wants to speak and get out there. In addition, and Lobby and the rest of the marketing team will be able to speak to this a little bit later, is we're also trying to consider, okay, do we want to pivot on some of the messaging and or strategy? Because initially we did try to focus on, hey, let's drive donations. Like we go to the homepage, the first thing it does is we kick you off to the GoFundMe page. We may want to do some multivariate testing there. So it's an A/B test to say, okay, half our users go check out the site as it exists. And here's a different version that may be focused more on, hey, sign up and join our waitlist, or hey, read more about us. So we can test all these different approaches and find out what resonates better with users, what's the better user experience, and then that becomes the normal, or rather the improved version. So we're going to be doing a lot of A/B testing, and we're very lucky to have brought on a number of people that are skilled in data analytics and data science. So we're going to do some really cool stuff here very quickly. Okay, and the last bit here is also, we are still going to stick with the plan. The plan is we're going to just continue to increase the coverage wave by wave. And so now we're going to be really looking at the success of Fran's esports tournament today and tomorrow. And we'll learn a lot, like if that gave us a really significant boost or if there's like other shifts that we need to take place. So anyway, that's where we are at fundraising. Don't be frightened, because I am not frightened. Also because I'm very hard to frighten, but we've got a really solid game plan here.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we get someone to write for us, like the example, like Kotaku or something, do we add that to the website list, or that specifically for that marketing team's list? That's the PR list that we're looking at, which doesn't include all of our other key stats. However, we will be building a media page, which let me see if I can find that. So yeah, on the media page, which will be, I think, partly related to the About Us section, what we're going to have is all the different media pieces, whether it's an interview, an article, or podcast, or YouTube video, will actually have a feed of all the content that we've generated.
So if somebody wants to know about us, they can just literally go to the media page and see every press release and every article and stuff like that. We also have modules to pull in our most popular social posts. So whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, we can actually have that plugged right in. So this is kind of like the one-stop shop to say, oh shit, this is Leyline all over the internet. We just kind of consolidate here, and it becomes a stream of great content people can look at. So that's the idea about the pulling together all the media. So right now, this is just more looking at the stats behind it, and this is more internally focused. But then later on, we'll just have our own content feed over here. It's gonna be pretty slick because we're generating a ton of content, and it's good stuff. It's really fun. I would watch our content. All right. Thanks for the question. So yeah, there's also our web traffic. And so I've set some pretty aggressive goals here for the end of the campaign, which is going to stretch into January. So we are still burning a little bit low here. But again, partly because we've been driving so much traffic only to the GoFundMe page. So that's something to consider. It is, again, I'm going to dig into a bit of the demographics here. LATAM continues to be unbelievably powerful for us. And again, we have not localized anything. So there's something very special here. And the good news is that the engineering team's already working on integrating a CMS that will allow us to localize quite quickly. And you basically deploy updated fixes to the site without needing engineers to arrange for a deploy. So that's going to give us a lot of flexibility. And we have quite a few people ready to help us translate and localize, especially Mr. Paco, who we love so much, who does everything. So yeah, we've actually also got Latin American community members that have joined our Discord channel. So we probably are going to want to create a Spanish channel. Yeah, if you guys have not joined our community yet, it is starting to blow up, and we're getting lots of cool activity, and we're getting great feedback and suggestions. If you're a product manager, you need to be here because this is freaking gold for a product manager. Just saying. Or a designer or UX. Basically anybody that does product. You should probably be there. Okay. So yeah, on the account signups, so I started to dig into the data and did some cleanup. So we definitely have over 1,000 entries in the database, but there's a bunch of invalid emails, null fields, etc. So we trimmed it down, and so we're actually more around 857. So actually, it's good that we didn't go with the 1,000 signups announcement because we weren't really there. So what I'm going to do is sit down with Ali and the engineers to focus on getting our dashboard in place, which will be always this real-time query of all the valid accounts that we have set up. And let's definitely drive user acquisition. I think this is going to be key here. So I've indicated the items that are in red that we need to take action on and pivot around. So the response plan for account signups is as such. So yeah, we will do some multivariate testing to see if there's different messages that'll resonate and convert better. We also have a network of people that are very specialized in user acquisition, both from the paid media side, but also from just the raw content generation. So they are volunteering to help us out. So I'll be bringing them on board to kind of help consult and pitch in. We have to continue with our go-to-market plan. So particularly when it comes to press and media, we just need to get as in front of as many eyeballs as possible and increase that brand touch point for everybody out there. And then, yes, community and content creation. I have to say that I think there is something that could benefit a lot with the amount of content we produce just purely through our transparency. So, there's a strategic importance of investing in this Discord community because, again, these are the early adopters. These are the folks that are going to be the believers, that are going to have a stake in building Leyline, and they're going to be the best advocates. And that alone, when people can see that and feel that, that is the best marketing you could possibly get. And so that is an advantage that no other company has, which is no one likes to reveal their stuff. Everyone wants to keep their information secret. We don't. We want to give the knowledge for free. And that is value. That is the value exchange. Much more valuable than putting an ad on Facebook. So let's just lean into the fact that we have nothing to hide. That is really, really powerful. So something to consider. It is a very scary proposition because nobody really does this to this level of transparency, and it's quite radical. Brian, you have something to
Quick
say?
question regarding account signups and newsletter signups. If you sign up for an account, does that mean you automatically get the newsletter by default, or do they have to go through an extra step to get the newsletter?
You will. I think we have the ability to reach out to that same user base with the same message if we want to. So yes, once they have created an account, we have their email that we can now message over to them. But we can actually even separate it though. So if we only want to target the people that are only on the newsletter but don't have a Leyline account, we can also send a message to that cohort. So yeah, we have both options. Great questions, guys. Anything else? You can use the raise hand function so it doesn't get awkward. All right, cool. So as usual, you can always hit me up for questions. And again, this sheet is public to all of us, and we'll see about the real public. I think we need a delay on that thing. Okay, so we've got 15 minutes left, and there's a couple more showcases to go through. Do you guys prefer art or strategy? The first comment wins.
Right.
Art. Okay, art. Boom. Andrew, I'm going to toss it over to you to share some cool stuff.
All right, art time. Let's see, let me just present here. All right, is it working? Oh, should be firing up.
Yeah, looking good.
All right, this is some. You can see behind the scenes. I'm working on something here, but it's not some scribbles. So first off, we got this is little thing for people that haven't seen it yet. This was on the sign up.
That's
Art,
awesome.
some characters.
That's
Get
good.
going. Then if you unsubscribed, say I tried to make this bigger so everyone can see, but hopefully everyone kind of squint or see. And did a
That's
little
so cool.
Street Fighter countdown, and then it goes into says game over because you almost unsubscribed. So it's on a loop here, but we can set it to
So
whatever you want.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then we got this little guy who's onto this, and I took this character. So we're gonna finish off the coloring here, but you can see a little animation I made. Yeah, so in the game's probably the game's probably we're talking about. So if you're on the wait list, if you click the button, the idea is this would play because you have the chance to win a golden ticket. It'll move you up the wait list. So we can change what's in the box. So maybe if you don't actually get the we can change what appears in there, but that's easy enough to do. And then no one's seen this one yet. I was working on this too for the same wait list. I thought we needed something else if they weren't clicking. So this was just played out. Oh. Yeah, this is just in the waiting room for these weird techno eggs.
That's so great.
So if I just thought this would play the loop because they're just gonna wiggle and the weights. So
I love
and again,
it.
I'm gonna get the actual colors on later to finish off the little character guy, but that's what it's looking like for now.
That is so great, and I love
Brilliant
the
as
red.
well.
I love the red button too because it's kind of reflective of our daily check-in now, and we're gonna have more check-in functions for mindfulness and sleep and stuff like that. So I love the button symbol. By coincidence, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was thinking too, if we ever want to add some little animations or anything even for the exercise thing, so I'm going to do some stuff. I always do that, but yeah, this is some stuff I'm working on for the avatar and the concept ideas. So that's it for now. Hope everyone liked the little art break.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Good job.
Yeah, it's all right, man. I mean, it's all right.
Boogie can do better.
Of course, I love that stuff, man. That guy's a wizard. You tell him one thing, and he comes up with this craziness. It's awesome. His imagination is wild. Wild.
I think that's a milestone. I think that's the meanest I've ever heard Justin be is like sarcastically nice. So let's write that in the collective Leyline journal.
Yes, I agree. Oh, we're gonna have some fun stories about Boogie on the Kismet log.
Wait a minute.
Christian, did you want to plug something in? You mentioned that you may not have anything ready yet.
Yeah, I don't have anything crazy to share this week, but I should for next Monday. We're doing some Ryan and I are doing some cool stuff on like the Paris scene and content design, and then I'm hoping to have some more other cool just concept ideas with like the logo and sort of environments that we can start experimenting with and creating. Andrew, I think your work's awesome, man. That's really cool stuff. Looking forward to when we start, merging the freeways together and like building this thing into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Building both ends into one another and seeing what it ends up looking like. But yeah, nothing crazy to share this week, but I should have something cool next week.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can visualize. It's like when you have two highways connecting, it basically is like a giant car wreck, right? That's what it's going to look like. Or like a teleportation. Okay, so...
I mean, if you drive in California.
Yeah, there's driving in California, just like staying still on the highway, right? You just kind of sit there. And you do the whole La La Land dancing scene. Like, that's what LA driving is like. I hope you guys got that joke.
I've seen Brian's hand's been raised for a while.
Oh, sorry, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know if you could see it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't realize you have to lower your hand once you raise it.
He was just dancing to the DJ lesson.
It's like having your blinker on for several miles.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to try to close out here with a couple of things. One is giving a preview of how the organization will continue to evolve over time. So this is still work in progress, but I wanted to at least share some thoughts of what's going to happen over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So you guys might have remembered me walking through our overarching Leyline platform vision, which is broken into 3 major phases, which is going to take place over the course of years. But where we are right now is in our phase 1. So essentially the core of our platform is really to secure your accounts and your profile on the blockchain. We are going to connect you to any number of causes that you want to support, and we will reward you on that, which includes distributed computing, exercise, sleep mindfulness, and blood donations, and it'll extend to more. From donating to causes, you can start to, earn your Leyline items plus all of the different value, which is our marketplace. And then we build this engagement hook in the arcade in order to continue building your profile, to enjoy games on Leyline while you're donating to science, and integrating with other blockchain games. So we got a lot of cool stuff we could do with our platform. And I just want to make sure I'm presenting my screen right, because I don't want to screw this up.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, thank God. So yeah, we'll go into phase 2 and phase 3 later, because that's probably way too ahead of schedule, especially if this is going public. But we could talk about the organization. So this is an emerging evolution. So, we are scaling very fast, and every week things are going to change. So it's why I do this stuff in Miro, because this will never be the same. Like, it's always going to change and it's always going to evolve. So the way we're kind of organized right now, if you zoom out, is into kind of 4 larger buckets. The most important thing is always, what is the product and service that you are building? What are you offering to your stakeholders, your customers, your users? So everything needs to be centered around building the product. Unless we have a product, we're not going to be able to help people. So everything has got to be centered around that. So as you can see with the platform, we've got all of these core APIs that we're connecting to different causes or external parties. And so it's actually the same way internally with our product development structure. So what we have are different pods that are organized into teams that support different key functional areas. So again, these teams, these pods are not guaranteed. I'm just showing a sample of what the organization could look like. And at the moment, what you can observe is that the current pods are kind of structured by discipline or skill set. So we have pod engineering, pod design, pod UX, games pod, etc. But we don't necessarily have those aligned against a feature set. So what we're going to aim to try and do is actually bring design, product, project, engineering, UX together into the same pod, because you actually operate way more efficiently. Your feedback is real time, your synchronization comes into place. There's no confusion where you ship over a PRD to the design team and they're like, I don't get all these things. Instead, you just have a real time conversation. So it's much faster. So we want to be in that space where these pods are fully autonomous and fully stacked, where they have everything that they need to produce, versus throwing a design or wireframe over the fence and having engineers try to cipher through that and figure out what to do, build it, and then maybe not necessarily build it to expectations. So that is something to just think about very clearly. And we're going to do the proper change management and communications management to talk to everybody to make sure that we understand what your needs are, what your operational pipeline looks like, what the proposed model for how we're structured, and then make sure we're tailoring it to support your pod to be productive. So given that these pods are now organized by features, and then they are specifically leveraging our core platform APIs and building them out. So beyond that, what happens is that, okay, so the product teams are basically building out the platform, the product, and the service. But we also have these specialties. So we're calling these guilds and services. So in a guild, it's basically, think of the Thieves Guild or the Fighters Guild in the D&D games. These are the specialties. These are the people that have the same skill sets as you. So we have a project management guild. So if you want to share best practices or find a mentor or train other project managers, or ask, hey, does any project manager here have a template for a work breakdown structure or a Gantt chart? Does anybody know the right tool sets that I can use? You can go to the guild and all of these experts will be able to help you in that journey. Or if someone's like, hey, I need a project manager to help me with this quest or this pod, you can go there to recruit a project manager to help you out. So that exists for pretty much, well, what we want to do is create a guild for everything. Because as we bring on more and more people, we're going to bring in different expertise, or we're going to bring on people that want to learn. And we want to help people learn. Education is the most powerful weapon through which you can change the world. So the more we share knowledge, the more we teach and more to educate, the more we empower people to do good things. So that's what the guilds and the services are for. And certain guilds and services might have an entire pipeline. So for example, the design pod has an entire Kanban board where if anyone needs art assets or graphical assets or design assets, you can put it into that pipeline. And that black box, that design pod, will be able to produce those outputs for you. So there's always going to be this clear process between the different groups. Bye, Cody. And the glue that actually pulls all these different groups together are your product and project managers. So the P's, either as a producer, project manager, project coordinator, etc. This is how you scale an organization. Because as you start to get more and more people into their specific focus areas, if you're not tying them all together and communicating and have them function in harmony, you're going to have fucking chaos. So the secret sauce is always in the production layer and the project management layer. So make sure you're best friends with your project manager, like Paco, because basically Paco is here like the interconnecting person for like all of these things. And so you can, please, everyone give some sympathy and love to project managers, because it is a tough fucking job. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, so you can now understand the value of putting that together. And I've actually, there's been many academic studies that evaluate successful AAA games, and they actually pull the credits for all those games and they analyze, okay, who are the most consistent people that produce the best reviewed and best monetizing games. It wasn't about the designers, it wasn't about the engineers, it was actually the producers, because the producers pulled all of the skills together. They tied it all into one cohesive unit and product and then pushed it to ship live. Whereas if you only had like amazing design director, maybe that person not as organized, or maybe that person not as good at communicating and aligning everybody together. So it's very powerful. Not to say that this is the most important thing, but it's just such an important piece of the puzzle that often isn't very recognized. So yeah. Anyway, I might be biased because I'm kind of a producer guy, so I'm probably hyping up the value a little bit too much. Anyway, so yeah, then we zoom into business operations. So under business operations, we've got marketing, community, biz dev, and partnerships, legal, finance, accounting. And these are also just as important, even though we don't give it a lot of like praise and singing and public facing stuff. The business cannot survive without this. This is so critical. And so that is the third group. And then the fourth one is basically this temporal area. So what we have is a gigantic quest board of tons of projects and ideas and things to do. What will happen is that a particular pod may have a quest that is quite finite. It should maybe run an experiment or do a hackathon for a week. What will happen is someone picks up the quest and pulls a pod together. And that pod just like works on it, gets it done, and then boom, it's finished, and then kind of like, evaporates and the quest is completed. So we could certainly have like a bunch of these temporary pods set up to complete these quests, and then it'll just disappear back into the ether. So we have that flexibility if we need to. So this is a bit of the snapshot of the organization. And again, this is not final. I'm sharing this to open up a conversation and get early feedback before we pull the trigger on anything. And then hopefully it's representing what your experience is, because if it's not, then we got some improvement to do. Let me see. What else is there to say? That's probably a lot. That's very dense. Anybody want to raise their hand and ask questions? Or tell me I've been on mute the whole time? Okay, yes, Brian.
One area of evolution I see in this is once we have a more robust live product, we'll need like a more live team support, whether that be customer service, network operations, security, all those groups will definitely get more online. So something to consider once we have more stuff customer facing.
That is a great call out, Brian. Absolutely. All right, we are pretty much at time and no one's raised their hand. So I had one other topic, I'm going to save it for later, is this idea of the week. So this, I think, is going to kind of turn into a bit of like our soapbox opportunity. So if anyone wants like a philosophical topic they want to plug into our soapbox, this is a place for it. I've got some fun topics to share, and so I'll do a couple samples maybe starting next week. But yeah, this is a open platform. If you guys want to share some stuff, this is not the Jeremy show. This is the Leyline team, all hands. So you also should be, presenting your stuff. I'd love to make this very high participation. I think that is it. This is going to be a great week, guys. I can feel it. I can feel the energy. And yeah, I got your back. This is going to happen. I think it's unstoppable at this point. We just got to do the hard work.
I'd just like to add one thing. The podcast is about Leyline, but I really want to showcase the people here and how you got involved and everything like that, because I always give you guys a lot of props because I love you and think you guys are total wizards. So I really want to showcase you. So if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast and tooting your own horn a little bit and just talking about life, please hit me up or Cody. Either if you want to be a co-host or a regular or just pop in for a little bit, please, because you guys are amazing.
Yes, indeed. And in case you want to, check it out, check out the structure of the podcast, or goals, or principles, you can just go to the Notion page here and hang out with Elon. And yeah, go ahead. We would love to have more guests and lots of content. We're going to also invite other people, partners, etc. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be sticking around afterwards if you want to just like talk, answer, or do some Q&A. So I'll wait till everyone's gone. But otherwise, let's go kick some ass, team. We're going to make this happen. I love you all. I'm so proud of you. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Catch you guys later. Kick some ass. Let's go.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.